everyone, team, the collective. Do you feel like you're dying? Am I am I alone in this? Because I've been calling it an early life crisis for about 6 months now. I feel like 2025 has been a whole new level of confrontation. And just recently, it has really kicked itself up a notch. Now today is a really powerful full moon. Actually, I think it's supposed to be one of the most powerful full moons of the year. I don't know much about it, but I'm feeling it. And apparently, just this last week, if not the last 2 weeks, we have undergone a massive timeline shift. Now, let's talk about timelines. Let's talk about shifting really quickly right now for a second. When I remote view, when I take a look at especially sort of future things, right? I mean, the past is the past. But when I take a look at future things, there's an infinite number of different parallel timelines. There is a timeline where I didn't curl my hair today, a timeline where I wore a different top, a timeline where I showed up late, and a timeline where I didn't show up at all, right? There's an infinite number of different timelines every single time we make a choice, as simple as you wake up in the morning and are you going to drink that orange juice or a coffee or a tea or just water? Every choice we make hops us into a different path, right? So hopping into a new timeline isn't actually a big deal. It's happening every day, all day, every single second of the day. However, what I just learned yesterday was that we collectively hopped into a brand new timeline for the entire planet. Now, the last time we had this big of a timeline shift was actually back in 2012. And I know that timeline, that timing in particular is widely debated. 2012, did it really happen? Was it in 2024 where it was the calendar off? I get all the things, okay? There was absolutely a massive shift that happened and occurred, which I have confirmed on many different levels around that time. Now, do you guys remember that around that time, maybe 2012, 2013, all of a sudden, all of these really weird Mandela effects started to occur? Like, Luke, I am your father. No, that doesn't exist. It's no, I am your father. Or Berenstein versus Berenstain Bears, right? What is the truth? We don't know. Is it Fruit Loops or Febreze or Febreze? When we went through that massive collective timeline shift, there were a lot of small things that changed all at once. And it took us quite a few years to process and fully understand the shift that occurred. And even I don't fully understand it to this day. We are undergoing that same timeline shift, or let's say the intensity of that timeline shift right now. Now, yesterday I had a really incredible Galactic Federation meeting, and it was a mystery GFL. So anything goes, and I just showed up and said, what do you need to let humanity know right now? And almost every single being that came through was all talking about the shifting, transitioning energies on the planet, but specifically this timeline shift. So I'm going to give you the high-level overview of everything that they mentioned in that Galactic Federation meeting yesterday. And there's a lot of things that I'm not going to touch upon. So if you want a deeper dive today and you want to know more about what changed and how that changed and what that means for all of us, go check out that Galactic Federation Summit. So it would be season 2025, episode 5, all right, for May. Okay, so yeah, I mean, where do I even begin? So why did this timeline shift happen? That was kind of one of my first questions. Now, apparently, when a star in the galaxy or the universe, when a star collapses, it creates a supernova, right? It's like this huge explosion. Like, think about a nuclear bomb, like times a million, right? And essentially, this is what they were saying. Take it or leave it, of course. When a star collapses and this supernova occurs, it creates this sort of energy pulse or this ripple out in the universe. And apparently what's happening right now is we are getting hit with these cosmic energy waves or cosmic energy ripples. So yeah, it's different than a solar flare, and it will not probably show up on the Schumann resonance. But what I've noticed recently is when I'm observing the solar flare app and when I'm observing the Schumann resonance app and these different sort of radio frequencies, there's been a lot of blackouts recently. And apparently these cosmic waves that are hitting us are actually causing these radio blackouts, which is so fascinating. As always, take it or leave it. Now, what that means for us is that when a huge cosmic wave or energy wave hits us, it shifts us into a higher frequency, right? Just think of it as an amalgamation of a lot of electromagnetic frequency hitting the planet and shifting us into a higher vibration. Now, when that happens at a physical level, we're going to feel it. So here are some of the symptoms that they were mentioning yesterday that you probably have been feeling the past 2 weeks. And then we're going to go into more of the emotional and even psychological symptoms that you're going to be experiencing as well. Headaches. Apparently having a headache or even just like a pressure in your head is a very common symptom, along with body aches, just random body aches. Remember, guys, we are electromagnetic frequency beings. We're frequency beings experiencing a physical body. So, of course, we're going to experience this not just at an energetic level, but we're going to experience it at a physical level as well. Nausea is also a really big symptom. And I don't know about you, but like, it's not even just a nauseous feeling. I'm actually getting that feeling right now. It's like a pain or a sharpness in the solar plexus, which is not very pleasant. Also weird like temperature changes as well. If you've been feeling like really hot all of a sudden or really cold all of a sudden, that's a part of it. And then also like lightheadedness or getting dizzy or even having bouts of vertigo. And I've been having a lot of bouts of almost like borderline fainting spells. And I just haven't been able to really put my finger on it. So those are sort of more of the physical symptoms. There are other symptoms that are like more rare. Like some people are experiencing weird skin issues. Like it could be like a rash on your skin. A lot of that is actually your body purging. Some people actually have been nauseous to the point of like purging. That can be a part of it as well. Our bodies are trying to adjust to the difference in frequency, and it's not always an easy adjustment. At nighttime, having really vivid dreams is a very common symptom as well, or just straight up not being able to sleep at all. You're just awake every single hour on the hour all night long. I know the past week or two, I've had multiple nights of just being completely wide awake, and that's been pretty brutal. And then let's talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about psychic attacks as well, because that's really important. But let's talk about sort of more of the emotional, psychological, and the human issues that go along with such a massive timeline change, right? Once again, we shift timelines all day, every day, because we make different choices. Collectively, it is very difficult to shift an entire population of a planet, and that's just what happened. Now, right now, like the main thing that you're going to be experiencing is a shift in choice. Right now, your main focus, and if it's not, then either great, you're already living your highest timeline, or just wait because you might get hit with this later on, or you're like me and you are deep diving in the middle of really being confused and distraught and like essentially in crisis around your life, around making choices in your life. And they feel like really big choices. So in 2025 in general, you're going to probably feel that pull between, let's call it your old reality and your new one. But recently with this cosmic wave hitting, you are going to be prompted to actually make the choice now. So what goes along with feeling torn between a choice? Essentially, you have one version of your reality. You have one timeline that is familiar to you, right? It's you wake up and you live the same life and you make the same choices and you go to the same job and you have the same family and all of the things. Or all of a sudden you're feeling like, wow, I don't know where this came from, but I'm not happy in my job. I thought I was really happy in my job. All of a sudden, I'm not actually happy with the hobbies that I have, or with the relationship that I'm in, or with the living situation that I'm a part of, and I need a change, right? It's been this prompting energy of change for all of 2025, but now you're actually being forced to make a choice. And the reason why you're probably struggling pretty hard internally right now is because your ego, your identity, wants safety. It wants safety, it wants control, it wants to know what to expect, it wants the same. That's actually the easy choice, is to not change, right? And then this energy is coming in saying, whoa, 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 you think that this is the best thing for you, but it's not. And it's time to be really honest with yourself. And that is prompting a choice. And it's the choice of change. And so what you're being led into is actually a higher timeline. We can't see that change as a higher timeline right now because it's really scary. Because change is always really scary, especially if we're changing massive foundations in our life. So I want to mention, if you're feeling this way, and I'm saying make the choice because you don't know, but it's good for you, hold on. Before you go collapsing your life and blaming me, here's what I recommend, all right? Make small choices first. The other thing that's happening right now is there's a lot of fire, there's a lot of intensity, there's a lot of need to be impulsive. So no, you don't want to be super impulsive and just blow up your life because whatever EA told you to do so, or like the full moon is prompting it. But that being said, I do recommend start something new. Try a new food, go to a different restaurant, drive to work a different way, wake up and make a different choice on the beverage that you're going to drink. Make new, small choices every single day, and that's actually going to prompt you to shift slowly into the new timeline. If you want to rip the Band-Aid off and you want to collapse your life and you want something new completely and fresh, then go for it. I'm not going to stop you on that either. It's completely up to you. Either way you roll the dice, you're going to be forced to change, unless in the past year or two, you have done all of the big changes and now you finally feel settled into your highest timeline. I also want to mention, if you're like, all right, I'm leaving corporate in 2024 and I'm following my mission to be a spiritual teacher or Reiki practitioner or past life regressionist or whatever, congratulations. However, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that you've probably been blocked on your new path. And the reason why I'm just going to assume you're going to be blocked on your new path is because you've now made the choice of the highest timeline before the collective was ready to fully support you in that highest timeline. And most likely because you just dove into the highest timeline, which congratulations for you, you're probably still hanging on to some old attachments around self-worth and financial abundance. So that's also competing with that new timeline. So we've got people in this community who have made the big decisions, and yet you're not seeing the full conclusion or the reality of that decision. Some of you are in the middle. You're struggling right now internally to make a decision, and you don't know which one is the right one. And then there are those of you who are like, nah, life is good. I'm not going to make a decision. I don't need to because everything is exactly the way it needs to be, and you may get hit in 3 months from now. Who knows? Or you're already in the highest timeline. All right. So there's a lot going on. What else did I want to mention? So yeah, make small choices and try and make new and conscious choices that are aligned with the highest frequency. So yeah. Now this leads me to psychic attacks and manipulation. Now before we get there, and then we're going to talk a little bit about discernment and how to make the right choice in the highest timeline, because that's really important. please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you're into conspiracies and agendas and 5D and quantum mechanics and aliens. Like, this is your jam. You don't have to like love all of it, but subscribe at least for the next video. And share this video to anyone else who has really been struggling or really experiencing something or just needs a little bit of validation in this crazy, insane world we're living in. All right? Sorry, I'm getting all riled up. All right. Psychic attacks. The other piece of information that came through yesterday during the Galactic Federation Summit is that because we've collectively shifted, there's a lot of people that are sort of up in the air right now. Like, I keep mentioning that 2025 feels like a Schrodinger's cat situation. If you don't know Schrodinger's cat, I will inform you. Essentially, when the cat is in the box, the cat is in a state of superposition, which means that the cat is both dead and alive at the same time. That's a fancy way, theoretically, of saying that when we do not make a choice in life, all choices are possibly happening simultaneously. All right? So that being said, there's a lot of things that are up in the air right now. There's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty. When we are thrown into chaos, fear, and uncertainty, what happens is we end up getting prone to manipulation. And that could be manipulation from anything. Like, all of a sudden, you're open to a new job and some flashy salesman with nice white teeth comes over and says, "Hey, do you need a new job? Are you looking for a quick buck? Well, I'm the guy for you." And I don't know why he's got like a Texas accent. And then all of a sudden you're just going for it because you feel impulsive and you want something new and it's shiny and flashy and there's a lot of big promises, and then it's terrible and it's the wrong decision. So that's the other thing too. So it could be manipulation from other people. It could be also psychic attacks and manipulation at sort of an energetic level. I don't know if any of you have been having really vivid sort of nightmarish dreams, or maybe your children have been waking up with nightmares or screaming. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of that because it's kind of like muddying the waters, right? Like, as timelines are shifting, if you could imagine like a pristine, clear lake, and then you're just trudging through the lake, and all of the dirt and the mud is like all coming up, okay? That's kind of where we're at right now, is we're trudging things up, and we're very open, and therefore we're open to manipulation. So how do we not get conned in? And this came from a Galactic Federation member. I think it was a Syrian being yesterday. Alana, potentially? Anyway, you got to watch it. But there was a being yesterday that was talking about how we need to lead with the heart rather than the ego, rather than the head, right? Because our ego, yeah, maybe the grass is greener on the other side. Maybe we do want more. But why do you want more? And have you asked yourself if you're truly happy? Because that's where the core of the change should come from. It should come from authentic happiness. And that word right there is so key. This year, it's been all about authenticity and integrity. And if you look at your life right now and you ask yourself, am I happy in my job? Am I happy in my relationship? Am I happy in my living situation? Am I happy with my finances? It's okay to say no to all of those questions. And also, if you say no to all of those questions, it doesn't actually mean that you need to let go and change all of those things. But what you can do is show up for yourself consciously every single day. Check in with yourself and make different choices. Small choices, because that will lead you to a new timeline where you actually find authentic, integral happiness. There's a lot of us here on this channel, a lot of my team members, a lot of you out there who are people pleasers. You gain your happiness from making other people happy. And I've got a news flash for you. That is no longer the way that we are going to move forward collectively. It is no longer about sacrifice. It is no longer about one person showing up for many. It is about one person inspiring another person to show up for themselves. Because although we think that we are doing the right thing by giving and giving and giving, we are actually enabling. And through doing that, we are creating separation, not empowerment. The way forward is unity. It's all of us coming together. It's standing in our own power, and it's asking ourselves the tough questions and then being able to look within and make even tougher decisions. That's all from me. I love you guys so much. Keep up the good work. You're not alone. You're in crisis. We're all there. You got this. Hang on. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.